All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Bobby Lynn Kekik, and I'm the Director for New Student Programs. I want to thank you for joining us today for our Falcon Live chat entitled Financing Your Students' Education. We have two campus experts who will be sharing some content for us in just a moment. But before we get started, I wanted to give a quick introduction to what our Falcon Live chat series is. This is an opportunity for us to bring some content to our families all around the world, a little bit of Bentley to your home. And this is a way for us to be able to engage you in some of the resources and information that your students might be seeing as the newest members of our Bentley community. We are recording this session so that you're able to view it at a later date. We recognize with being a global campus that we are never going to find a time that will work specifically for all of our families and students. So please view this at a time that is convenient for you so that you can gain access to the resources available to you today. We also share that it's being recorded because if you do have any questions that are more personal in nature, we do ask that you hold off on asking those and reach out directly to our offices so that we can assist you one-on-one. All right, so before we get started with today's topic, which is financing your students' education, I wanted to give some space for our two campus experts to introduce themselves. We will then cover a few reminders and updates of the new Falcon Experience, and then we will get into today's topic. So Lauren, would you like to start?
Yes, thanks. I'm Lauren Sullivan. I'm the Director of the Office of Financial Assistance here at Bentley.
And I'm Suzanne Burns. I am the Director of the Student Accounts Office.
Wonderful. So as I shared, we do have a few updates and reminders in regards to the new Falcon Experience. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with what our onboarding process looks like, just wanted to give some quick insight into that. So at this point, your student has deposited and they have access to their new student checklist and their new student guide. These are essential tools for them to be able to complete their tasks prior to joining us on campus in January. The checklist has a variety of tasks. Some you can see on the right-hand side with some of the deadlines coming up. We do want to make sure that our students are staying on top of these tasks as they are important to them being on campus, whether that's the health and immunization deadline that's coming up. If they're planning to live on campus, we have the application and contract submission deadline approaching pretty quickly, end of this week. And we also have a few components that are connected to their academic progress. So the critical reading and writing essay, their math selection survey, those are all going to be really important for the students to complete prior to their course registration, which will take place in January. Another one of those tools are our online orientation program, Bentley Beginnings. We do ask students to complete that prior to the course registration process because there's some additional tools that they will receive by completing that program. Academic overview will be emailed to students next week. It will be a recording to allow for students, again, with our global campus, to allow for students to view that at a time that's convenient for them. This will give a lot of information around how to use the course registration tool, as students are considering courses to register for, some advice as to what they should think about in this first semester at Bentley. If your student does want to connect with an advisor, there will be some optional time in January. On January 11th, your student will receive emails as to how to sign up for that opportunity. And then they will actually register for their courses on January 12th. Our last two pieces, we have a variety of family resources. Our Falcon Live chat series is just one of those. If you go to our website, which is bentley.edu/orientation, you will find a section dedicated to our parents and families. There are some pre-recorded video series that you can access. We have a monthly newsletter. We have these Falcon Live chat series, but then we'll also host a post-orientation workshop. You will receive an invitation for this in early January, but it's an opportunity for us to give an update over the student orientation process, share some of our focus areas of support for students in their first semester here at Bentley. And then we always end that with a chance to speak with some current students so that you can see what our current Falcons are experiencing. And lastly, our new student orientation program. So this is for our new students to join us here on campus prior to the start of classes. This will happen from January 19th to the 22nd. And this program is really an opportunity for students to get settled in, whether they are living on campus or not, become familiar with our campus, with the different resources, interact with faculty and staff, and of course, meet their peers so they can start building their network here at Bentley. So these are just a few updates that we wanted to share with you as you're interacting with your student, as you're supporting your student in these next few weeks. Please feel free to share this information. We really do view our families, our support people, our guardians as partners in this opportunity. Of course, we want to encourage our students to advocate for themselves, to take advantage of this opportunity, but we do acknowledge that you have been with your student and supporting your student, and that may not change as soon as they just head to our campus. So we want to really arm you with information and resources. So in the event that they do come to you, that you're able to share some of these opportunities as well. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and dig into our topic for today, which is around funding and financing your students' education, whether this is you personally supporting them through funding and financing, or if your student is doing this, this is a wonderful opportunity to learn about the resources here at Bentley, the experience and the timeline. As I mentioned, we have 2 campus experts who will be sharing some of this content, but the conversation can continue far beyond this. So whether you reach out to our offices via email or call us, we'd be happy to continue to support you in a way that is most helpful. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to our 2 campus experts to get started.
Okay, so I think the first 2 sections belong to me, so I'll just go over the agenda real quick. We've got a quick slide about the educational costs, and that's essentially the cost of attendance. I'll go over a few funding options and opportunities, and then I'll turn it over to Suzanne to go over some billing and other payment options that you'll have. So if we just go to section 1, determining the educational costs, we'll run through a breakdown. So this is the academic year cost of attendance. For the spring, we would simply divide this in half. So the difference between the build costs and the not build costs is really just that simple. Build costs, you're going to see billed by the university. Not build costs or out-of-pocket expenses are things that you need to be budgeting for and are part of the total cost of attendance. Anything in this list is what we expect students to need to budget for when they're pursuing their education. So it's good to remember the academic year price point, but just be mindful that you're going to see this cut in half when you get billed for this spring. Tuition, room, student activity fee, all billed expenses. Now, the room cost could vary. This is based on the highest meal plan and the average for first-year students. But if a student were to opt for a different housing option, it could have a different build expense out there. And then always be mindful that even though, personal expenses, these here are average, it doesn't necessarily account for everything that you might be thinking about. Like they might vary wildly between students, it just depending where they're coming from. One of the examples we typically use here is if you're coming from a warmer climate and you need to budget to get winter clothing or things like that, you could have different average out-of-pocket expenses, and you just want to look at the big picture for what you're financing. Now, if we move on to the financing options and opportunities, I think it's the next slide. Yep, funding options and opportunities. I'll talk about just a few things that you can be thinking about in terms of financial aid. Next slide, thank you. So at this point for new students, we're past our priority deadline for a need-based financial aid application. But if you're a US citizen or a permanent resident, you're enrolling full-time, you can still apply for both federal and institutional need-based financial aid. I'm not going to go into the full application process here because it's just not applicable to everybody that might be viewing. But if you were to go to our site, there are application steps for how to complete that. Even if you were just looking to obtain your federal student loan eligibility as a US citizen or permanent resident, you can simply complete the FAFSA and notify our office. I think that if you're going to pursue it at this time and have not started an application or are in the process of an application and you're just waiting to hear from us, get in touch with our office about this. There might be steps that you need to complete that perhaps that you're not aware of. So your financial aid counselor, which is split up by alphabetical split, is here and ready to help you. Excuse me, in terms of other options for financial aid that come through our office, we're looking at alternative loans, which that would be credit-based loans. So if you've done your aid or you're not getting aid or however you're pursuing it, but you want to try to spread out your payments over time through a credit-based loan, that there are many, many out there to choose from. They can be in the parent's name or in the student's name, likely with a co-signer. And this is all done and applied for by a family and or student outside of our office. Basically, if you have a bank that you like or a credit union that you work with, anything that works for you works for us. We do have a list of lenders, and I have that on the next slide, don't move yet, a list of lenders that meet a certain criteria on a website that we say, start your research here, compare things side by side, but really it is up to the family to determine if they're going this route, what is best for them. And I do make another note in here that if you are going to be federally eligible, it might be best to pursue your federal loan opportunities before credit-based because they might have more favorable terms and conditions and interest rates. I've included the free scholarship search platforms on here too. There are many out there as well. We do have some examples of those on our websites too. There will be criteria to meet, there will be deadlines to meet. There certainly can still be some out there, and actually referencing some of those alternative lenders, all of them have some sort of sweeps that you can enter on a monthly basis to see if you can win some outside scholarship sourcing. But this can be an opportunity to try and find things, if not for even this year, but to keep looking at for next year. It's legwork, but you can put as much information in these search engines or as little as you want, and it should be able to help identify what you might be eligible for, and then you can apply for them through essays or whatnot. Lastly, I want to mention the paid employment opportunities because the the student employment office is within the financial aid office as well. So there are job opportunities on campus. We have a lot of students that want to work that, it's a job market. So you are applying and there's not a guarantee of a job, but they are out there. You can earn funds through the Federal Work Study Program, which does require a need-based financial aid application, or Bentley Work Program. If you are unsure if you have funding to be able to apply for a job, just see our office and we can make sure that you have what you need so that you can access the jobs through our Workday system. And again, this does not go towards your bill. This is really to help get you those out-of-pocket expenses, saving for books, paying for your, toothpaste or things like that. So these are there so that you can help pay for your personal expenses and future expenses. It's not going to go directly towards the bill. And then just on some resources that have to do with this previous slide, I just put a couple of scholarship search engines in there. FastWeb's a pretty well-known one. collegescholarships.org. Again, as much information or as little as you'd like, and it should help match you. Be careful for deadlines. Elm Select is out there, and that will give you a side-by-side loan comparison as well if you're looking into that. And then I always like to include some resources for our international students as well. NAFSA is a really good site to get information about, just general college guidance, as well as students applying for as well as students applying for outside scholarships. There are search engines through them, and then a couple other ones under there that have some useful information to you. And then with that, I think I am moving on over to Suzanne.
Okay, thank you. So student accounts does the billing and collection of the tuition. Next slide, please. So here's some important dates to remember. November 30th is when we presented the bills. So if you have registered already for the spring semester, those charges are out there and your financial aid should be on that as well as anticipated aid. So you'll want to look for that in Workday. If you have not registered yet, then once you have, you'll want to look in your Workday account to view your bill, and you can print that statement from Workday. We do have a payment plan, and that's 4 payments starting on December 15th, depending on when you enroll. Only the student can enroll in the payment plan. Once the student does that, if you do it on or before December 15th, the balance due on your account will be split into 4 payments. If you do that on the 16th of December, then the balance is going to be done into 3 installments. So just keep that deadline in mind. If you're just paying your balance in full, undergraduate students' due date is January 9th. So if you are doing like a 529 plan or something like that, you'll want to get that sent soon, because that can take up to a couple of weeks. And again, so the payment plan, the last day to enroll in the payment plan is actually January 20th. I apologize, it's wrong on this slide. It's January 20th is our final day to enroll in the payment plan. And then if you enroll on January 16th, then you would only have 2 payments, but you do have up until January 20th to get enrolled in that. And then the final installment will be on March 15th. So our rate sheet can be found on our website, and then students are responsible for setting up third-party users, and that can be a parent or anyone that's involved with your account that you wish to make payments, or you want them to be able to discuss the details of your account with us. So students can go on to Workday and set up their third-party users. If you need any assistance with that, you can certainly contact our office. Students and the third-party users, once they're set up, will be emailed any activity that's posted to your account. So you should, I know you're inundated with emails, but you should review emails, anything from the student accounts office or the financial aid office. It's, you know, we don't just send blanket emails. We usually send something out that it's important that you review. So definitely be reading our emails and checking your Workday account. Statements are in real time. So, you know, the bill is presented, but if you add or drop a class or something might change in your financial aid, or you could even get a parking ticket, you'll want to keep viewing your account and, you know, just to make sure, and especially before, you know, registration and stuff, just view your account so that you know what's going on with it and you're not surprised by a balance or a hold. Holds do go on unresolved balances 14 days after the due date. And again, the due date for undergraduate students was January 9th. So 14 days after that, a hold will be applied to your account. And then 30 days after that, $100 late payment fee. That being said, you know, work with us if something's going on, you see, you know, that you're expecting some financial aid that's not on your account, you know, or in the anticipated aid, and you think it should be, reach out to us early on so that we can help you get that resolved and get everything updated on your account. And then you can always, you know, call us. And again, the due date is January 9th, but if you do sign up for the payment plan, then your due dates are different. Next slide, please. So this is just a sample of how we're going to bill you. So in the top section, you're going to see your charges and then your payments and credit. And then the third one I want to draw your attention to is anticipated payments. So that means we know that you're getting, you know, this financial aid. It's just not officially on your account yet. So we're aware that it's coming and it reduces your balance. And then once it is official, then it will be put into the payments and credit section. And this is a sample bill that you can print from your Workday account. We don't send paper bills, so this is something that if you need paper, you can go on and print, but you can also view in your Workday portal. Okay, so just a note, only the student can enroll in the payment plan. Your third-party users can make payments for you, no problem, but it's actually the student that goes on and enroll. And just so you're aware, until you agree to the terms and conditions, your payment plan is not officially approved. So there is a terms and conditions that you'll get a notification just to agree to. So once that's done, you're all set. You should see yourself set up on the payment plan. And again, that's December through March, depending on when you enroll. It's enrollment in each semester, so it does not carry forward from fall to spring. You'll want to do that each semester, and it is interest-free. However, there's a $35 enrollment fee per semester, and then you agree to the terms and conditions, and then it's set up. If you do miss installments, there you are subject to a $20 late payment fee each installment. And then, so it doesn't carry over. So it's a $20 late fee. So there's a little grace period, but it is due on the 15th of each month. So you'll want to make sure you get your payment in so that you can avoid that late fee. Okay, we have several different payment methods. You can pay on Workday by ACH e-check with no fee. If you'd like to pay by credit card, we do accept credit card payments. However, there's a convenience fee paid to the processor. It's 2.75% for domestic students and 3.95% for international students. And that's based on the amount that you're paying. So you'll want to keep that in mind. And if ACH or e-check's a option for you, then you'll want to use that to avoid those fees. And of course, we still accept paper checks that can be mailed to the cashier's office, brought to our office. The cashier's is opened 9 to noon every day, Monday through Friday. Our office is open 8:30 to 4:30. You can certainly drop it off with us or at cashiers, or you can mail in paper checks. Or your 529 plans, we'll send them directly to us. They also 529s will be wired. And then all domestic and international wires go through a company called Flywire. So if you go to this website, paymentflywire.com, and then pay, you just choose Bentley and you can wire the money internationally or domestically. And we are now accepting cryptocurrency. If that's something you'd like to utilize, then you go to the student accounts website, and there's a link where you can fill out the cryptocurrency payments like Bitcoin and some of these others we do accept. And then once you have, you may have a credit balance on your account. So again, going back to that anticipated payment versus an actual payment, once everything's in your actual payments, not just anticipated, and you have a credit balance for your personal expenses or for whatever reason, then you'll want to apply for a refund to get those funds. So your first step would be setting up your banking information in Workday, and that's for payments and refund elections. So you can set up your routing number at the bottom of your checking account to make a payment. And then if you do create request for a refund, then that payment's going to go direct deposit into that account that you've paid from or set up as your payment election. You can also get a paper check, but if you do want direct deposit, you're going to want to do your first step as your banking information, and then you're going to go in and do create requests for any refunds that you may have on your account. But that has to be actual payment on your account, not just anticipated. Okay, and just note that we're here to help. We have dedicated representatives in our office, and the financial aid office has counselors for you to meet with. So anything seems wrong or you have questions, or please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. And we're always, we're always open. If you want to drop by or just call us, we're here to help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for sharing this valuable information. I'm going to go ahead and pause this share and open it up to any questions and answers that or questions that folks might have, so we can provide some answers. Do just want to quickly offer up, please do not ask anything specific. Knowing that this is being recorded, we want to be respectful of your personal information on this recording. So please do use the contact information that we shared earlier, and I will share that screen before we wrap up today. And if there are any questions that we're unable to answer during our time today, we'd be happy to follow that conversation up outside of this space. So our first question is, how do we as parents set up access to Workday?
So you would have your students set you up as a third-party user, and then you'll have access to speak to us and have access to any communications we send out, and you will have your own login to log into Workday. And if you need any assistance, just have your student call us and we can walk them through it.
I know a resource I've shared with some families, if you search just Workday Student Bentley, there's some wonderful information graphics that exist too, to give some instructions on that. So you can try that search, see if you find it. If not, as Suzanne said, feel free to reach out to us and we can send that information to you as well. I do think it's important for folks to take a look at that though, because this portal is different than what you might have seen through a student's high school or pre-college experience. So important to take a look at that. Another question that we received is, where is the application for federal direct loans? Lauren, any thoughts or advice on that?
Yes. So like I said, I didn't go too into it. You can certainly go to our website and go to the applying for aid section, and there will be links there. But the application for federal loans is actually the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. And that is completed at studentaid.gov.
Wonderful. Want to give just a few more moments. If there are any questions that folks have, please continue to put that in the Q&A feature at the bottom. But also wanted to open up, Lauren or Suzanne, is there any, and apologies, I have a office right now that shuts off when we're not moving. So are there any words of advice or tips that you would give to family members as they're navigating this process, maybe for the first time?
I would allude to what Suzanne said about setting up the third-party access. Yes, you'll have access to some of the contact that we send out, but when students enroll and are matriculated and become official students, it starts to limit how much we can actually do outreach to anyone but the student. The student is the primary owner of their information, and their primary contact point is typically their Bentley email address, because we know who owns it. And so it's the most secure point of contact for us. So just be mindful for students and parents to stay on that. As Suzanne said, we really want you to be watching for stuff from us because when we reach out, it's typically about something important. We work through that Workday system, and students aren't in it 24/7. So just keeping an eye on their email and that's contact from important offices is key.
And just remember, always, you can always reach out to us with questions, anything. And if we can't answer them, we can certainly put you in the right direction on who can answer your questions. But definitely call us, email us. We want to work with you.
Wonderful. I think that's such great advice. I think any of the faculty staff that you hear from is going to offer up support and resources. So please use us. As I mentioned at the start of this, we really do value our family members and view you as partners in this. But as Lauren did share, there is a limit to what we're able to share and access. So, I think making sure that you can reach out and get some information, but then also advocating, having your student do some self-advocacy is going to be key. It looks like we might have one more question. And so we'll answer that question and then we will wrap up our time together today. But this last question is, my son is having trouble locating his Bentley email entry point. What is the link to go to it and then enter his email and his password? I'm happy to jump on this if you all are okay with that.
Please
Yes.
do.
Yeah, of course. So something that I always suggest for folks in regards to accessing email, we have a really great landing spot for a lot of the portals and applications here at Bentley. If your student goes to my.bentley.edu, they'll be able to click on their Outlook app, and then they'll be able to access their email from there. If they have not set up their Bentley email yet, there are a few additional steps in regards to setting up our authentication system here at Bentley. So if they can refer back to the email that they received from our help desk, there's a lot of question and answer there. If they're still struggling with navigating some of those steps, what I always encourage students to do is to reach out to our help desk staff, and they will walk through each of those pieces with our new community members. They can be reached at helpdesk, HELPDESK, at bentley.edu, and they'll be able to work with your student. It will be really important for them to have that set up, just knowing that we have a lot of deadlines coming up. And for people who are viewing this live chat, if your student does not have their Bentley email yet, one step that they will need to take in order to gain access to that is signing their technology ethics agreement. This is in their Bentley Connect portal, which is the portal that they've been working in through the admission process. So once they deposit, this task is available to them. So they will read through that information, they will sign that technology ethics agreement electronically, and then that generates the process for their email account to be created. So within 2 business days, they will receive that with instructions of how to set that up. Again, connection to our authentication system, and then they'll be able to use that. But throughout any of those points, if there are questions that come up, our help desk is a wonderful resource that we always encourage people to reach out to. And if your student is having any issues accessing some of those tasks that I referenced at the start with those deadlines coming up, they're welcome to reach out to my team. And that's just orientation@bentley.edu. And we can help to either answer the question or assist you with that process and get you connected to the correct office there. So with that being said, I'm going to share that screen one more time for the contact information. Lauren and Suzanne, thank you both so much for speaking today to some of our incoming families. Please feel free to reach out to their teams if you have any questions. And thank you so much. And we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.